So again, it's addressing an issue that isn't there or that isn't going to fix. Also, there's another concern about non-indigenous species being introduced into Texas, and I know a lot of people look at Florida, which again, that's where I'm from, which I live in Houston now, but a lot of people look at the Everglades and go, oh my gosh, look at what happened to the Everglades. It could happen here. Texas is not tropical. And it's already been proven in research that even species that are indigenous to Texas, if you took a southern species and released it up north, or a northern one and released it in the south, just the survivability of that is very, very limited, if not non-existent. So to think that you're going to take an Egyptian cobra or an Asian tree viper or anything like that and let it loose in Texas and it's just going to thrive, it's not going to happen. Snakes, as interesting as they are, they're not the hardiest type of animal out there. Mammals are far more resilient. You can turn monkeys loose and monkeys make it in a lot of different areas where they're not indigenous to. Cattle, all sorts of large antelope and things from Africa. You can turn loose and a lot of them can make it. Snakes are that hardy, they're not that resilient. A couple other quick points and I'll go on. I spoke to a fire chief in Keystone Heights, Florida, and we were discussing this issue and somebody had dealing with on something else. And I was asking him what his feelings were. And, he thought this was helping them because they already have a permit system. And he said, I need a permit system. And I said, well, yeah, this state apparently has a record of everybody that has a large constrictor or a venomous snake. I don't ever get any information on that. They're not providing that. Apparently, I forget what we refer to the sheet as, but they have a sheet that prints out that will tell them if there's a mentally handicapped person that lives there, a physically handicapped person, anything about the house. There's a sheet that prints out that they pull and take with them. This information isn't even provided to them out there, and they already have this permitting system. Providing that adds in clerical expenses and expenses for distributing it, keeping it maintained, keeping it current. So as far as wildlife, they've got zero in the column for what they think it's going to cost to take care of this. So I think they're very short-sighted in that. And again, as somebody else said, when you start figuring in what it's going to cost to maintain it, it doesn't figure still not adding up. Now, I spoke to somebody in Texas. There's a fire marshal who was right up the street from him, spoke to last night. And he said that they don't even get a sheet with any of the stuff that the Florida gentleman told me about. They don't get a sheet with any of that stuff. He said anything that provided more information, he would see as helpful. But again, to provide that information, it's going to cost them money to provide information to every fire department across the state. To kind of summarize and wind this up, I think having snakes being more and more in the public eye and available to people, one of the main causes of ophidiophobia is lack of knowledge and lack of exposure. And I know that in our educational presentations and things like that we've done, and just me in my everyday life, I've come across more people than I can stand here and count that were terrified of snakes to the point of, oh God, get it away. We went into a PetSmart one day and the lady was threatening to kill our little tricolored hogsnotch snake, this big, non-venomous, harmless. And she was completely freaking out. By the time we left, she was petting it and saying, oh, they're not that bad. And she was that terrified of them. But just that 5 minutes of exposure and talking, and she was okay with it. All of those people that go through that are people that later on, when they see a Texas rat snake or one of our indigenous species, aren't going to think, I can grab shovel and kill it. All of these children that are growing up with pet snakes now and being exposed to them are going to grow up and be children that aren't going to go, oh my God, it's a snake, I have to kill it. This is what is bringing the snake into the same realm as other animals that are accepted and appreciated for what they are. A good example of that is when the Jaws movies came out. I think we're all old enough to remember when that happened. Immediately shark fishing went nuts. Everybody wanted to catch and kill sharks. The sharks are bad, sharks are evil. Now, thanks to National Geographic, television, educational things, aquariums, people are starting to have more and more appreciation for sharks, and they're less apt to just kill them for the sake of killing. snakes have been in that same category forever because of the Bible, because of TV, because of everything. Snakes are always portrayed as evil. Even Disney cartoons, the snake is always the one that pretends to be your friend, but he's got an agenda and he really just wants to eat you in the end. We're conditioned to think snakes are evil. The more we can educate people and teach them that snakes are not the evil things that they're taught, the better they're going to do in the long run, and the better it is for our planet. If they had fluffy tails like squirrels and bunnies, they'd be a lot safer, but instead we have rattlesnake roundups that are supported by municipalities, and people go and drive at these and think this is a great spectacle, and they enjoy it while they watch these people pick up these interesting and necessary creatures to our environment. They pick them up and sling them into bags and have contests, and they cut the heads off and serve them and barbecue them. And if I said I wanted to have a bunny stomp and we're going to round up bunnies and throw them into bags and beat them against walls, people would freak. If I said I'm going to grab squirrels and sling them around by their tails, people would be in an uproar because they're cute. Not all people see snakes as cute, but the more we can educate the people, the better it will be for them.
Thank you very much.